Hello everybody, Maven here, and today I wanted to do something that I normally do every single time a new season comes out, and that is go over every single brand new weapon in the game and give you my opinion on the god rolls. I'm gonna try to be brief about it because we got like 60 new things to get to, so let's just begin. The Criminal's Dagger, gonna be massive for PvP. The Igneous Hammer is the best 120 because it's the only one that can two-head one body because of Precision Instrument. And now this is the second 120 to get Precision Instrument. So you're definitely gonna want that along with something like Moving Target or perhaps Slideways, definitely. Next up, Speleologist. It's a rapid fire frame machine gun. And whenever you see killing tally on a machine gun, that's definitely the way to go. Rapid fire frame's not the best, so I wouldn't even recommend going for this. I would probably pair it along with something like Envious. Deconstructs like a suit of rewind rounds. Slideways is fine to like reload some ammo back into the mag. But on a machine gun, you definitely want something that boosts your mag. Do not fall for the bait with heel clip. Machine guns reload extremely slow no matter if you have 100 reload speed or not. So definitely use one of these three along with killing tally. Maybe even incandescent in some situations, but probably this. The guiding sight, they nerfed the god roll that the previous one had of gut shot and precision instrument. It used to be the only 150 scout that can two-head one body, and it no longer works. And for PvE, there's much better options. I would honestly just avoid this thing. If you desperately wanted one though, I could see potentially like Moving Target Cascade to beam somebody down after getting a kill with another weapon, or perhaps just like a neutral roll like Slice with kill clip maybe if you just wanted to be an annoying Warlock in a Rift. The Controlling Vision, definitely more of a PvP oriented sidearm. Still not the best though. I'm not really impressed with the thing's perk options. If you're on controller, maybe something like Surplus or Slideways, M&K, most likely Fragile Focus to get that plus 20 range, along with Threat Detector, because when you're using a sidearm in Crucible, you're probably going to be within 15 meters of somebody, so you can get a nice little stat boost there. But overall, not the most exciting sidearm in the world. The Truth Teller, they took away auto-loading holster, so honestly don't even bother. Auto-loading holster is really the only thing that makes the breech-loaded grenade launchers good. Bold Endings, the Pale Hard Hand Cannon, it's a heavy two-burst like the Warden's Law, and it gets a really interesting roll of Headstone with Dragonfly. They're both perks that proc by getting a crit kill, and it's going to make crystal and blow it up immediately with the Dragonfly explosion to make an even bigger explosion. So for ad clear, that's going to be pretty good. Dead Grandma Rye 4. This shotgun is ridiculous. I can't stress that enough. This is going to be a top PvE ad clear pick. Trust me. It's the first time they're putting chain reaction on a shoddy, and then you also have Discord on it. That's just insane. You get a kill with another weapon, then for 7 seconds, you just run around getting free ammo out of thin air and just like chain reactioning everything. This gun is going to be absolutely insane. It even has Volt Shot if you're just going with like a neutral game roll, you know, like Threat Detector Volt Shot or like Eddy Current Volt Shot for like an arc build. And you only have to reload like one pellet back into the mag and proc it. This gun is definitely a top pick. Keep an eye out for this one. Shayura's Wrath is coming back to Trials. Definitely more of a PvP oriented weapon. Now, when you see a PvP weapon and it's not a scout rifle and you see the perk Keep Away, it's always gonna be the best in slot. Gives you just free range, free reload speed and whatnot, free accuracy. And then in the right side column, Target Lock's gonna help your neutral game TTK. If you don't care too much about that though, there's also Kill Clip. I could also see having some fun with Cascade Point potentially, pairing it along with like a sniper or a shoddy or a pulse rifle. The Wrist Walker, still insane as ever, still gets Slide Shot and Opening Shot, probably the strongest two perk combination you can possibly get on a PvP shoddy. And then it still has the insane and criminally underused PvE god roll of Discord with Harmony. For 7 seconds, you got infinite ammo and plus 20% damage. That's like the best PvE shotgun without 1-2 punch. Eye of Soul is coming back for like, what is it, the 4th time ever in Trials, maybe 5th? And it still has the good old god roll of Moving Target Snapshot, potentially Opening Shot if you get like a high handling roll. It's still just going to be the way to go. The Shadow Price, it's back and it's going to get an Adept because it's dropping from the Grandmaster Nightfall. I did do a shorts video on this one before, and the roll I used was Surplus with Volt Shot because it's giving you that bonus reload speed to synergize with the Volt Shot, and it was very, very solid. Not going to be better than the Prosecutor because that can get Dragonfly Volt Shot. So still not going to be the best in slot arc auto, but for PvP, you got that gut shot straight, so you can do what the Amit AR2 can do, and as you know, that's nasty in Crucible. Time Worn Wayfarer, it is a solar DMT frame, scout rifle, a 120 aggressive frame. And these things are not meant for DPS, so while the role of 4th times precision instrument may seem appealing, it's not the way to go. But it does get heal clip incandescent, and you can proc that just by reloading just like the 1 bullet back into the mag, and these things reload pretty quickly. You do have to reload each bullet individually, but all you need is 1 to proc that heal clip, so that roll is going to be pretty good for ad clear. The Lost Signal Area Denial Frame Grenade Launcher. I have actually never tried this thing before, so I don't know how it works, but apparently it's like a special Wither Horde. And so I can't really judge its absolute god roll since I haven't seen it in action, but I see a special GL, I see auto-loading holster, I know that's the way to go. Lead from gold may be appealing, but trust me, auto-loading holster, and personally I'd pair that along with lead from gold. I don't know how area denial-y it is, but one for all could potentially synergize with that. But reverberation is a new perk, haven't tried it out, don't know exactly how this is going to operate on here, so I wouldn't know until I see it, but this is personally the role that I would go with. The Mahi's HC4 2 burst hand cannon, just like the Warden's Law, it's void though. Frenzy I always feel is the best like perk for a primary ad clear weapon. I'd go with that along with something like rapid hit, maybe just for the feel, because you proc these 2 things and suddenly just look at your stat boosts. You can just make this thing super stable and like 100 reload speed. It's gonna feel very crispy. The Perfect Paradox, monumental, but not as much as you may think. We already have the 1 small step in the kinetic slot, another rapid fire frame with a 1-2 punch. This one has a Pugilist, which got mixed with Grave Robber, so now you deal damage with the melee, it auto reloads the weapon. So it's similar to having like an Ikelos shotgun, but in the kinetic slot. So it's pretty big. I think it's gonna be nice in the meta for like 1-2 punch builds, because you can pair it along with something like Sunshot. Next is a Scintillation Adept, drops from Grandmaster Nightfalls, and you can pair bait and switch along with something like Rewind Rounds or auto loading holster. Absolutely disgusting DPS roll. Not gonna be better than the Cataclysmic, because that can get 4 times a charm, give you free ammo out of thin air. This one doesn't. But it's still good for DPS if you don't have a Cataclysmic crafted. Claws of the Wolf is coming back in Iron Banner. It's a 540 RPM Void Pulse rifle, and it's huge because it has Headseeker in the left side column. I don't think any other rapid fire frame pulse has that, and you can pair that along something like Kill Clip for a ridiculously consistent TTK when you proc it. I could also see people pairing Headseeker along with something like Zen Moment. I'm personally not a fan of Headseeker, but you also got something like Perpetual Motion for the extra stability, just for the feel. Make it really, really stable, good handling, good reload speed, and pair that along with something like Kill Clip. Gonna be a great feeling pulse. Next is the No Hesitation. This is that Healy frame pulse rifle. It kind of shoots like Osteostriga in a way, and I can't really judge the god roll of this thing because I never really tried it. It's got these Healy support perks, Psychic and Circle of Life gives you damage and restoration when you heal allies rapidly. Don't know how well that's going to work out. Seems pretty needy, seems like a lot of work. Sometimes your allies are going to run off and like eager edge away somewhere and you won't be able to proc it, you know? I also see Subsistence Incandescent, which is a solid ad clear roll, or Demo Frenzy for like grenade spam builds. The Chronophage Void Trace Rifle, I don't see any rolls particularly good here per se, but I do see something interesting. And that's a Demolitionist is in the right side column, and in the left column you have your choice of either Pugilist or Strategist, which is like the new kind of perk like Demolitionist and Pugilist where it gives you class ability energy on final blows. So between these 2 perks, like you can have a really good ability spam build going on because it's feeding you a ton of ability energy for like multiple of your abilities. The Adverse Possession Arc 180 RPM Scout Rifle, honestly avoid this thing. There's really nothing worthy of pointing out here. It's kind of just trash all around. The Pre-Astian X4 is back and they're giving it Archer's Gambit, which is insane. Now, if you are a PvP player and you're really good at clicking heads when hip firing a bow, Archer's Tempo with Archer's Gambit is 100% the way to go, and that's going to be like the nastiest PvP bow. For PvE though, I wouldn't even bother. Bows really kind of suck in PvE and they're only really used for stunning champions, so it really doesn't matter what role you go with. The Corrasion Pulse Rifle, the first legendary 2-burst pulse rifle, kind of like the Graviton or the Revision Zero's 2-burst mode. And this thing is absolutely disgusting. I'm telling you, Pulse's just got that a 38% damage buff, 20% globally, but 38% against trash mobs. And this thing can get the buffed eddy current, which, you know, as like your amplified, see, you get plus 60 reload speed and also a reload duration multiplier. While you are amplified, you have that at all times. So it's nasty for like arc and prismatic builds because you're just amplified 100% of the time. And then you got Volt Shot to pair along with that in the right side column, so you're just jolting everything, reloading blindingly fast. This is going to be a very, very nasty pulse rifle in PvE. The Warden's Law Adept is back in Grandmaster Nightfalls, and we dodged a bullet, no pun intended, because we still have the Lucky Pants God roll, a 4th time's a charm, and Vorpal Weapon. That's the roll you're going to want to chase for Lucky Pants builds. The Aberrant Action Solar Rocket Assisted Frame Sidearm is going to be absolutely disgusting for ad clear activities with Heal Clip and Incandescent. That just sounds like disgusting for a rocket sidearm. But after using the Indebted Kindness for so long, like I have over 10k kills on my Indebted Kindness, I've learned that lead from gold is just so necessary, and the fact that this thing does not get that really kind of hurts. So it's not going to be as spammable, but still this roll is going to be nuts for ad clear. Patron of Lost Causes Kinetic 200 RPM Scout Rifle is back, but for PvE I would not use this thing because the Hung Jury is just better. For PvP though, it's a little bit interesting because it's the first 200 RPM scout to get Precision Instrument, and look at our TTK. And tier 10 resilience, Precision Instrument allows us to 3-head 1 body to any resilience level, which is going to make it very consistent. And I would pair that along with something like Rapid Hit. The Breach Light is back, and they made it Strand, which is kind of disappointing. This thing is definitely not as good as it used to be, especially in today's sandbox. There's better things to use. But for PvP, it gets a little bit interesting because we got the role of Slice to like help you win your ones, along with Collective Action, because you're going to sever a target, and when they die, they're going to create a tangle because they were severed. And then you pick up that tangle and you proc Collective Action to get free damage. So that's going to be a pretty nasty Crucible roll right there. The Sightline Survey is a 180 RPM arc hand cannon, and it does get Volt Shot in the right side column, but it's just not going to be better than the Posterity because that can get Frenzy plus Volt Shot. So definitely don't bother for PvE, but for PvP, it could be a pretty consistent and good feeling sidearm because it gets Precision Instrument, which allows you to 2-head 2-body. And I would probably pair that along with like Keep Away. It could be a pretty good feeling weapon. The Line in the Sand is coming back, and it does get Bait and Switch, but like we talked about before, there's no triple tap, there's no 4th time's a charm. It's just not going to be better than Cataclysmic. It's also the first ever linear fusion to get Reservoir Bursts, which is interesting, but I don't think it's going to be too relevant, honestly. The Martyr's Retribution Wayframe GL is back, and I'm so happy you don't understand. I deleted my autoloading holster Demolitionist Marty like 2 weeks before they announced the reversal of sunsetting, and I was so upset. But now that it's back with autoloading Incandescent, that's just absolutely a dream come true. But they did nerf wayframes. They did. I haven't tried them out yet. I don't know how bad they are. But apparently, blast radius matters now. So you can get only up to 75 blast radius. So we'll see how that pans out. I don't know how good it's going to be, but I'm still excited about it regardless. But it also has this Cast No Shadows origin trait where you can deal melee damage to reload ammo back into its mag. And that's going to be insane for me personally because I'm a Strand Hunter main and I got Threat of Ascent. So I can pull it out, shoot my shot, and then I grapple, proc Threat of Ascent to reload it, and then when I hit him with the grapple punch, that's going to proc this origin trait to reload another shot into it and maybe overflow it perhaps. I don't know if this will overflow it, but then give me 2 shots in the mag after that. So it seems like it'd be very, very insane. I'm very excited to see how this will pan out. The iconic Domino Sniper is back. It's a solar adaptive frame, and it does not have snapshot sights, so don't bother for Crucible, and it does not have any damage perks, so don't even bother for PvE. Honestly, just avoid this thing like the plague. Now here is an adaptive frame sniper that matters. It's Void, it's the Embraced Identity, and this one is actually good. This is what the Domino wishes it was. And this thing's kind of insane because you can get Reconstruction along with 4th time's a charm to have just a ridiculous mag size. So you can have like a pended mag with the backup mag, and you can reach 7 in the magazine. So Reconstruction overflows you to 14 in the mag. So having 14 with 4th time's charm gives you just like an ungodly mag size. So this thing is actually a relevant sniper rifle. The origin story, 450 RPM kinetic auto rifle, is back as a Vanguard drop. And like we talked about before with the Amid AR2 being good because of gut shot straight, giving it a very consistent TTK, this one has that as well, along with Keep Away. So actually a very solid PvP roll. And for PvE, nothing too sweaty. I mean, I guess it has kinetic tremors, but a fun casual roll. If you're a casual player who likes to do easy activities with friends, like strikes and stuff, a very, very fun roll. Something I tried out 2 weeks ago is Onslaught with Discord. because Onslaught, it's a very fun perk, but it dumps your mag so quickly, so you don't really have the opportunity to really utilize it. But with Discord, for 7 seconds, Final Blows fully reload your magazine. So you can take full advantage of Onslaught and just absolutely go in an Onslaught with Onslaught. So this is a very fun role for a casual player. The Someday Pale Heart Shotgun is absolutely going to make waves in PvP because it is the kinetic Matador. It gets the same god roll of Threat Detector opening shot, which is ridiculous. You can get like max range and insane handling. And if you're on an arc build, you can go with Elemental Capacitor to get like maxed out handling as well. Absolutely ridiculous shotgun, definitely going to see a lot of play in the PvP meta. The Aegis Care is a new Trials of Osiris adept weapon. It is a 2 burst pulse like the Revision 0. And the TTK values in DT Foundry are a little bugs. I don't know how Gut Shot would really affect it, but it seems like a very solid dueling weapon because you got like Keep Away or Slice to pair along with like Head Seeker, but I have no clue how Head Seeker is going to interact on a 2 burst pulse. Don't know if that'll even work at all. Now, Kill Clip and Golden Tricorn most likely will not affect its TTK. It's still probably going to be a 3-tap regardless, but what will affect its TTK is Desperado, because it's still going to be a 3-tap, but it fires quicker. So I would probably go with something like Keep Away or Slice with Desperado. The Point of the Stag Arc Bow is back in Iron Banner, and honestly, it doesn't really stand out. Nothing really good for PvP. For PvE, I guess if you want to do a build around like spamming class abilities, you got Strategist with a Dragonfly for Ad Clear and just have like a lot of class ability energy, but like really not too exciting. I would just avoid this thing, honestly. The Pro Memoria Strand Machine Gun, the first ever aggressive frame 600 RPM machine gun. I did a video covering this already. I tried it out a couple weeks ago. And there's Reconstruction Bait and Switch, which didn't even beat out the 450 RPMs. And for Ad Clear, you got things like Demo Frenzy, you got things like Hatchling Frenzy, Hatchling plus Dragonfly. And I tried these out and it's just like, it's gonna be fine for like easy content where stuff's gonna die in 1 or 2 shots to like this thing. But overall, I would just stick with the 450s. The Suspectum Linear Fusion Rifle, almost good, but 4 times the charm, unfortunately, is in the right side column and has no damage perks to pair with it, so you would think it's trash. But it's not the end of the world. It still can see some play because it has Chill Clip. And Chill Clip is capable of stunning overload champions. And if you have it with Envious Assassin, you can have a giant mag size so that you can have more Chill Clip shots loaded. So it'd be very niche, but it could be used for like Grandmasters with Overload champions. The Veiled Threat is a brand new Stasis 720 RPM auto rifle, but for PvE, I'm not too big of a fan of the damage perks that it has. And if you want a Headstone 720 auto, the crate's just better. But when it comes to PvP, it gets a little bit interesting. In the first column, I go Fragile Focus because you can't go wrong with plus 20 range, and it can get Gut Shot. Now, I know a lot of people hate Gut Shot, but look at the TTK. This is the biggest Gut Shot TTK shift I've ever seen, and it's first 720 auto to ever get it. The Body Shot TTK tier 10 resilience 1.42 at 18 body shots. Gut Shot activated takes 3 bullets off of that Body Shot TTK down to 15 bullets with the 1.17. So you're going to have very consistent kills with this thing. It's going to be nasty. I'm very excited to try this out. I'm a fan of 720 autos. The Riposte is the new comp auto rifle. It's a 720 RPM void auto rifle. And it's got some decent perks all around. Target lock can affect that TTK a little bit, like 8 crits 1 body as opposed to 9 to the crit. So it helps a bit. I'd probably go with like Kill Clip Killing Wind, or like maybe even To the Plan or To the Pain to like increase its aim assist, or like I could see Zen Moment, I could see Enlightened Action for the bonus reload speed to synergize with Kill Clip. Yeah, there's a lot of options here. It really depends on your play style. The Ill Omen is a new Stasis caster frame sword, and it can get Cold Steel, but I don't know how that interacts with like the caster frame projectile, because that hits a target multiple times, and I don't know if that'll freeze them, counting as multiple hits towards Cold Steel. But I would just avoid this thing because we already got some insane swords recently, like the Falling Guillotine and the Slammer. I would just stick with those and just avoid this. The Axial Lacuna is the new Pale Heart Fusion. It's a 780 charge time solar fusion, and it can get the insane god roll of Reconstruction Control Burst, the same one that the Eremite gets, that the Scatter Signal gets. I don't know how the Precision Frame will compete with those, but we'll have to test it out and see if it's even worth it. I don't think it will be, honestly. And for PvP, it does get an insane god roll of Kickstart with Firmly Planted, which synergize with each other, because this wants you to slide, and when you slide, you're going to be in Firmly Planted mode, so you get that bonus stability and bonus accuracy. Pretty nasty, but it's the same frame as main ingredient, and I don't think it's going to beat main ingredient. The Call is the new Strand rocket-assisted frame sidearm. And just like the Indebted Kindness, this one can also get lead from gold, which is massive because these things really need help with their ammo economy. And you can pair that along with probably golden tricorn on like a Strand subclass with like grapples. Because grapple makes it extremely easy to proc golden tricorn ×2, because in that 7 seconds you gotta get an ability kill, and a grapple punch kill is extremely easy to do. And then for 11 seconds you get plus 50% damage. So that's gonna be nasty with like unraveling rounds on Strand builds. The Yarovit MG4 SMG, I don't know why it's MG4, because usually in gun terms MG means machine gun. But anyways, it does get a pretty solid roll of rewind rounds and headstone, but headstone's going to be harder to proc because it's a 900 RPM SMG. It's not a precision-based weapon such as a hand cannon or scout rifle, so not going to be the best. And then rewind rounds, it's still going to mag dumb fast anyways as a 900 RPM, so honestly not the most exciting thing in the world, and I would honestly avoid this. The Hush is making its return in Gambit, and of course it still has Archer's Gambit, which you can pair along with Archer's Tempo, but like we talked about earlier with the pre-Astyanax 4, that one's just going to be better because it's adept. This one is not. But one interesting thing to point out about this one over that one is that this has Hipfire Grip, which synergizes with Archer's Gambit, because this is a perk that wants you to fire exclusively from the hip. However, if you want to be optimal, having increased charge time, like on a bow, draw time is just everything. So I would just stick with this, and I just stick with the pre-Astyanax 4. The Better Devils is probably the most iconic Destiny 2 hand cannon, but I'm sorry to tell you that they kind of killed this thing. It's not what it used to be. And honestly, even though it has so many perk options, there's nothing that's really like extremely good. I mean, it has fine rolls, but you're not going to use this thing in Crucible. Not only does the stats suck, but also it does not have ricochet rounds. It's got steady rounds. It's one of those. It's rare that you see a 140 with ricochet rounds these days, and usually when you do, it's going to be excellent for PvP because it'll have great stats. So, you know, it's not really the best. I did try this thing out a couple weeks ago in PvE, and I did try Rapid Hit with Demolitionist, and it is fine feeling, but as a Strand primary, you got way better options. So honestly, kind of disappointed that they killed this one. But for PvP, it does have Slice, which I guess does count for something. Now, when I first looked over all of these new weapons, my jaw dropped on 3 different weapons, and that was that shotgun with Discord and Chain Reaction, the Martyr's Retribution, and this one. This was the 3rd one that I was jaw dropped at. I'm super excited because I saw Precision Frame, and then I saw Bipod, and I was like, jackpot. It's about time that we get a Precision Frame with Bipod, and then it also has auto-loading holster as well. This thing is gonna be awesome for just general gameplay, because I've wanted to have a good bipod rocket for a long time because the reserves on high impact and precision frames got buffed, and that's what's kept me from using something like the Apex Predator with reconstruction bipod, because these have more reserves, going to be better for like just general gameplay and like Grandmasters if you need like a rocket to stun a champion with Overload rocket launcher. Obviously it's a new season, we don't have Overload rocket anymore, but I'm saying this is something that I've been looking for a long time, and I'm very excited about it. And finally, the last weapon of the day, the False Idols Pale Heart Solar Sword. It's a vortex frame. And you know how I said earlier, just ignore every other sword from now on because we already have the Slammer and the Fallen Guillotine? We'll add this one to the mix. This is another insane sword because it also has Relentless Strikes with Bait and Switch, very good DPS roll. But then it also has the most insane ad clear roll that a sword can possibly get, which is Incandescent with Chain Reaction. That's just crazy ad clear right there. If you see a group of like 8 ads, you just throw out one like Spin to Win or like one even Light Slice, and just suddenly everything chain reactions and blows up with like fire and explosions. It's beautiful. I tested this roll out a couple weeks ago and I absolutely love it. It's kind of niche when you would actually use an ad clear sword, but if you ever do, this is the one. So that's gonna do it for all our god rolls today. And one thing I wanted to point out real quick is that every weapon that says it drops from episode echoes activities, I don't know if these are available yet. I don't exactly know what Episode Echoes is, but they're breaking up seasons now into episodes. And correct me if I'm wrong. I could definitely be wrong here, but I think Episode Echoes is the next episode after this one we're currently on. I'm not sure if these are available yet. Somebody let me know down below in the comments, please. And that about wraps up the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to drop a like and a comment because it pleases the algorithm gods. And if I might have accidentally skimmed over any insane or interesting god rolls, let me know down below in the comments. And if you are new here, please consider subscribing as we are so close to hitting 50K subs and you can help me get there. And thank you so much if you do. And I will catch you in the next video. See you later.